Peace, peace. Another day. We are here. Anybody want to build? I've been here for a while. I've been here for a while, right? So I'm finally getting online now. I'm gonna be here at least until the 8 o'clock hour. All right. So anybody hit me up with some questions and stuff. I know the last couple of videos on. Okay. Last couple of videos on the Law School of Mecca page. It caused quite a stir, God.
No?
Yeah.
But I'm just so weird.
No, you was there, God. You was there.
Okay.
Yeah, when Inf Mega was here recording. Remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
They were talking about doing the game that they take it on and I was laughing and so on.
Yeah. What I was in disagreement, you know what I mean? Yeah, but if anybody has any thoughts, I really don't want to talk about it. I felt like I was definitive that day, you know. And probably the only thing that I could reiterate in the beginning is the main precepts. I don't want people to change what they learn or what they teach. You know. All right. Peace to God.
Peace out.
As you were, Amma. You're good. Yeah. Yeah, so as I was saying, as the guy walked in, so I don't want to cover it too long unless people have questions online or something like that, you know. But the collection of builds that becomes that long lecture between me and Inf Mega, that discourse that we had, that he called "Power to Refine" on the Allah School of Mecca page. It has the requisite trolls, you know, the trolls that always say something about me. But the main gist of those things is this: don't criticize the school if you got this flag on. Come and fix it. You know what I'm saying? Come and fix it. Because this isn't the NBA. I don't like what the Knicks might do. I can't put on some shorts and I would really not help the Knicks at all. You know what I mean? I ain't doing nothing to help the Knicks. Yeah, I got no way to help the Knicks though. Yeah, so I could be a Monday morning point guard. You know what I'm saying? I watch the Giants, definitely the Jets, and I could be a Monday morning quarterback. But I'm not with all that though. I think my peer group shouldn't be. To me, I was you know, it's funny. People were saying I'm talking about people. I was talking about people that are talking about me and throwing darts. You know what I mean? They might as well just said, well, this, you know, if you exclude me and say stuff about the school, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? If you exclude the things that are done good in the school, then that's a problem, though, because we have a clandestine, meaning unknown. Not necessarily that we're trying to keep it that way. We share it with all the people, but it still is, for many respects, arcane. A lot of people don't know what it means, right? They can't just, you know, that you could read 120 and know what it means, like you know what the words mean, but it got no sense to it. That means it's arcane. We're trying to teach all the human families. But amongst ourselves, though, we can't do all that stuff, or we criticize out there and say all this stuff. And again, the particular history I had with that individual is a long history. And they do themselves a service, though, by not asking me to go do all of the things that they did that earned me the reality of saying, we're not meeting up this time. The olive branches I've sent out over the years is enough to build a forest. Then we're going to just build online because I'm not having it anymore. But really, the conclusion should be, if you have power refinement, as long as you have a good, strong understanding that it's all peace. As long as you know the lineage you come from and what those elders were saying about it, whether pro, cons, whether varying against each other, we got to be a little bit more discerning. And you know, it's funny, we're arguing about words, though, that we changed ourselves. In the common parlance, God does not mean what we say it means. God means what we say it is when we go back etymologically to how original people used it in the times of the Taoist monks in the mountains, you know, in the time of many of the Zen Buddhist patriarchs, in the time of deep thinkers and philosophers of this common era, like Jiddu Krishnamurti or Thich Nhat Hanh, that they were deeper, so they understood that man was God. Over a deep, long period of time, they came to these conclusions without having the 120 or nothing like that. So what all this means is, in this day and time, though, we're the ones that have it, though. We should be coming of one accord. We should be building where it makes some type of camaraderie between us, at least. You know what I'm saying? And the things that we didn't get, instead of criticizing each other, we should do what we think the other person did wrong better. Mecca wrote everything down. If you agree with power only being there, then you should write these things down and challenge your ability to discourse. Because then you'll see on the page, though, how you're using just another man's understanding. How you're using just, it shouldn't be there. And that's what it was said. Like, you're actually going to have to write that on the paper. That's why it's so important to write sometimes. You got to understand it and stuff like that. You're like, oh, you know, even in a personal journal, oh, she shouldn't have broke up with me and stuff. Then you write down why. And then it sounds completely stupid. Like, yo, I am not the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just wrote down what you thought was so dope about you. And you're like, yeah, that's it. So sometimes, you know, because that's what the writing down or saying things and stuff, it leads things. When people do it on video, you would think that they would get that. But people do these videos and they never watch themselves again because they're too busy doing the next one and the next one and the next live and the next, you know, post. So they never really look back. So it never has a diary effect of looking back. That's why arts are more important nowadays too. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of a great artist. So we all think of their things, right? They might have said some things that they disagreed with early in their career. You know what I'm saying? Or seen deeper. You know what I mean? And they go, wow, you know, when I was on my first album, I really was like, right? And then now they don't really agree with that, even though it's dope, what they said was dope, you know what I mean? They may not ever say stuff like that again. So, you know, it's something to think about, you know? But all that other stuff, you know, like, all the other stuff is just troll stuff that I saw. I didn't see any good discourse that was really getting upset, you know what I'm saying? And
I mean, I think they complain or the told dogs.
People didn't like it though because I was very upfront.
But people want to go for the truth. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they complain.
Yeah.
Something I fixed is being arrogant.
Yeah, and it was like, the truth is that what I was saying was pot calls the kettle black.
Mm-hmm.
I get to say names and be particular because that's what's being done. And when you say stuff like, well, I didn't mention anyone's name and everything like that, you might as well. It's like if you say like, you know, like we sports metaphor. You say, look, all the Mets suck. You did not leave a Met out. You said they all suck. You know what I'm saying? You said they all suck. You know, so they're all included in that. You know, and I think it does a disservice to what we've been doing here at the school. You know what I'm saying? So many people come to school that haven't been here for like 5+ years, and they're like, wow, I didn't realize it looks like this anymore. And you know, for Why Supreme, when I started teaching here, God, there were spots on the floor that you could not step on. The place, right, the step right before you get into the room here, it was indented severely. That when my brother C.I.Q. remembered in perfection, 6'5", 1 million, because he was huge, would walk through and I could feel everything. And I would be like, yo, I would look and I was like, yo, he would be coming through and I was like, I would tell Dave's son, I was like, yeah, I don't know why C.I.Q. keeps stepping right there. Like, I could do it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know why he keeps stepping on that, because I feel like he's gonna just shoot right through the floor. This was how serious it was. So I'm like, we don't have to be content with our progress, you know? I'm not that. After every Thursday, I tell you, my week starts again, you know? I feel like I don't know anything. I start all over again. But when we look back and we get viciously critical of stuff, we're also not looking at the progress that's being made and stuff. You know, the things that's being done despite, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, we go, oh, there's not that many people with the knowledge of self. No, but there's people that's really, really quality getting it now, right? And they're doing it without some of the things that we had. We had, the streets was our distraction, right? Big distraction. But a lot of times, though, this could be a bigger distraction because it's safe. You know, nobody's telling you, yo, the social media and YouTube, that's gonna get you killed out there in these digital streets. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna die scrolling. You're just gonna be stupid at the end of the day, scrolling forever. But it's not like when we was in the streets, we're like, I listened to my parents. It's like, yo, my dad took me to the streets, showed me the hustlers and all that stuff. And I was like, yo, that's really not the path I want to go. I just stay away from this thing and doing these things and just keep the sports if I'm outside in the street. So when I went outside, it was all sports and stuff. But that's not the case with some of the distractions that the youth have now. You know what I'm saying? They could be doing something that's not considered dangerous to anybody, but they just binge watch something for 5 days in a row. Right? I've seen people say, look, I binge watch episode in this season. How many episodes a season? It was like, oh, it was just like 15 episodes, hour long. Like I binge watch a K-drama. My daughter got me watching K-dramas. I love a K-drama. You know what I mean? Those dramas are like hour and 8 minutes each episode. And there's 16 episodes. How did you watch the whole thing? It takes me about like 5-6 months to watch one.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't even know how you're doing it though. You know, because when you're tired, you can't watch it because you can't read it. Right? You gotta wait till you can read it, and because they don't have English. You know, there's very few of them that have English. So like, these are distractions that are different for this generation.
I think social media can be implemented as far as like artificial darkness nowadays.
Yo, yeah, you could get lost in that, and it's designed for that though. We all have moments where we're like, damn, I kind of went too hard with the scrolling. Yo, sometimes I wake up and I train as soon as I wake up and I'm ready, but sometimes I'm not ready. I'm like, wait a minute. I just scrolled like 20 minutes and it just poof, and I'm running to start the workout. You know what I'm saying? It happens to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then when you make communications like that, people that communicate with you, you don't want to be rude, so you want to listen to every video that somebody sent you, all the songs that somebody sent you. It's very difficult. You know what I mean? So they have different things, but I'm saying like we need to look at all things and worry about how we're building with everybody else. And I'm not saying we got to agree with everybody and always be sanitized in the way that we present ourselves, but we got to have some kind of unified front. And I won't have anybody criticizing and say it's useful when they did nothing here. They did nothing here. And that's what that video's origins were. You know, they didn't do anything here. What they did do, though, and I'm going to leave it like this, is that they had criticisms. They had direct comments. You know what I'm saying? They might as well said, there's a spick doing things that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Over the years, they had all types of stuff. And I just wasn't having it no more. Because now it's not 5 years teaching here. It's not 10. It's not even 15. It's 24. Finished already. So I'm like, yo, It's a time where like our generation says, this is our school.
Yeah, I'm here, right?
This is it. If you don't like it and you're dissing it,
Keep pushing.
you're dissing me. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could diss the Knicks, but I'm a starting player on the team. I may not like it if you say all that shit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm Curry on the Warriors, though. But I'm saying we're all Warriors here. And I get a lot of shots at the game. You know, I take a lot of shots. You know, so we take it personal. But and also a lot of the science is unfounded and stuff. Nobody with refinement should be thinking that they're a faggot if they say the word. This is not Beetlejuice. This is not nothing like that. This doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? It's with the intentions that you're dealing with stuff, you know? And it gets a little out of pocket though.
A lot of guys think this 120 man and be like,
we got to be very particular, guys. We got to be very like, look, we're older, right? We actually could get away with going, man, I don't agree with this trans stuff and I don't want to see it around and this and that. We could do that. We're older and we're in ciphers that, yo, man, you're too old to be acting like you do something else now. With you now, right? We women to the end of time, they ain't nothing. It don't even make no sense to us. We don't even understand. Let's keep it real, right? But the fluctuations of young people, whether it's detrimental or not, though, that's a trait of the young. You know what I'm saying? Because they're finding themselves. They're supposed to be experimenting, and a lot of people guide the youth to flip themselves into different things as opposed to experimenting with good things. You know what I'm saying? That's going to happen all the time, right? So when we have this language like use refinement though, and you're going to be homo and stuff like that, that don't help you build in the outside world. Because what I learned teaching in the school, God, is that you don't get everything you want, right? I've been with young people here, and I'm like, man, in my mind, I'm thinking, man, and this brother, if he got on point, he could be like the illest 5%, like he's the future. Like, yo, I'm a general manager in my head. I'm like, yo, this kid is the future, right? Sign him up. I'm like, yo, I'm like, you know, Quincy Jones over here. But I don't teach that way because it's not right and exact. They got to choose it. I have taught students here, right, that they just wanted to have they just want to have better strength in their family bonds. But it wasn't in their heart like that, right? It's teaching to be a civilized person. I just taught people that they just needed to do some of the skill sets that they had with more confidence and stuff. Finish college with confidence or get the ideas to try to decide what they want to do with their life. Not everyone becomes you, God. They're like, yo, I'm God. Give me all the materials because this is who I am. And I'm going to research this and find more on my own. Most people are not like that. Your percentage is going to be low the more you teach. And if your percentage is high and you've been teaching a long time, I guarantee you, you've been teaching few people or you delusional and you taught them all that they the God. You lying to yourself.
Yeah, right.
Because that's not the way. That means you made them like that. People with a high percentage, if it's real, are going to be people that were very selective, which is okay. They were in their community and they taught people that were like them. That's not my case. I teach at the school mainly in my life. There are many people I have taught and they've never been in this classroom. But the majority that I teach is coming through the classroom. So that means that I'm teaching what the people need. And just because you walk in doesn't mean that you need that. So teaching righteousness, civilization, righteousness is the major things. Then knowledge itself if they're ready for that. So not everybody is going to get to those points, though. So when you're teaching in that fashion, you're not trying to make God. I can't make God. If I did, I made the earth. That's not God. You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling him how to be God and this and that, and I learned that from Firstborn Prince. You know what I'm saying? He was like, how that goes out of hand. One time, he was telling me his brother that is his student got into a brawl, and you know he got into a brawl or whatnot. Was all bloodied up, and he came here to ask Prince what to do. And he was like, you got to tell me what to do. Get your ass to a hospital first. You can't make a move without coming to me. You know what I'm saying? But that happens, though. So I saw that early on You know, because Prince was alive he was still alive when I first started. So that cemented me like, this is not going to work though if I'm teaching people to follow me. So I have to push them out the door. You know what I'm saying? Guide them. If you know, you got to do this on your own. You got to do this. This is why, if you notice, God, I give a lot of curriculum. I make you email me. There's people that was here that they didn't email me. You got to make a step. You know, and then there's people that really want it that I'm teaching. They keep forwarding me the same email that I didn't respond to because I told them to do that. And they're like, "Yo, Sunez, what's up? Peace, God. Just wanted to make sure you saw the last email." You know, my brother Malik does that to me all the time. Peace to God, Malik. Yeah, he's right here. You know, I got sincere peace. You know,
I had to call you and call me back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like if you know, so we busy and stuff like that. You know. Because sometimes I don't answer back because I'm like, I'm not going to give you a, hey, okay, I can't talk right now. Why would I contact you to tell you I can't build with you? You know what I'm saying? And so I'll try to give you a real contact, like a real moment where I could get it right. You know what I'm saying? But these are the things that we're doing. So like, it's important that now that we're old, if we're older, we decide how we're going to present this and realize that you represent this whole thing. You know? You represent this whole thing and have the daring to represent it all. But that was it though. I don't, unless people in the cipher have questions about it, because you know I don't really say no to questions. I never do. But unless people have a question about it, I don't really have much else to say about that, man. I said everything I could, you know, about it. You know? The person, you know, anybody that disagreed, what can they disagree with? You know, the people that didn't like it, what they could say is like, yo, because in the end, though, if we're getting real hardcore, the people that didn't like it, they could disagree with everything, but they can't disagree with that. I said, don't talk about me. Don't talk about things affiliated with me. Don't talk about the school if you're not building the school. God, you come here all the time. You start adding on. You could be like, but see, when you start adding on in the school, you're not really trying to go out nowhere and tell people what's up. You're trying to say, yo, let me do this though. This is my home. I don't like the way it is, right? You go home though, right? Wherever you live, right? You don't go, man, my bed looks like trash. So go walk outside, tell people, you know, something's wrong with my damn bed. It's always messed up, and I'm getting mad about this. What would the other person say? Man, I don't care. Go home and fix it. If you see this as your home, though, you kind of stop saying like, damn, I don't like this. You start saying, what could we do about this? Who's the people that is really building? I learned that from P.E.A.C.E. You know, I don't like the way they're doing that, and I approach them, but look, let me do this. So the way the school becomes yours is that you capture a moment of the school. You know what I'm saying? I realized this a long time ago, and I had told the guys, I told the elders, one is alive, one returned to the essence, Allah be. And I said, God, I did all these things. I was in the boards, I was in the groups, all of them. I cleaned the school, I pulled out the weeds when the weeds was taller than me. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, where's Sunez? Because he got lost in the basement, throwing out all the rubble and putting in garbage bags and all that. All of these things are memories. God, the first time I threw the garbage bags, just doing that became a memory because it was the God, knowledge, peace that said, God, you're in shape. You should do Kung Fu with us. That's how I learned Kung Fu. Because I was cleaning the school and they saw I was in shape to pick up the bags. You know what I'm saying? That's literally how I got into Kung Fu. You know what I'm saying? So it took more time after that because I was like, I don't know about that. It's more like kicking shit, right? And then when I saw Ghost Dog, then I was like, I definitely got to do this. That RZA score was too much, and I love that movie. I got the book, the Hagakure, and I said, yo, God, when you going to meet with the Sea Gun, I'm going to go meet him and we'll train. But that was really what happened. But it was all building at the school, doing everything you could do. I made product to sell at Parliaments, my own newspaper. I made another newspaper, Mecca Mission, that was representing the school here as the best way I could do it uniquely to all of the newspapers. There's nothing here I didn't do. And that's why, like, when I say stuff like, oh, you know, I don't want people to talk about the school. I did everything in the school. People saying like, oh, The other day there was this problem, bad problem. The other day this school is no good. Oh, I'm teaching I'm teaching here, right? Yeah, because we weren't using this, so we'd be at the front, and then they used to have the blackboard on the wall. It used to be on the wall. But there used to be so much stuff that people was leaving here, elders like packing up. It was a pack rat thing, and you couldn't even reach the board. You know what I'm saying? I still taught. I still was here. I said, man, I don't like all that junk back there. It's my criticism. But I wasn't like, oh, the school's no good. I'm not going to come back again. You know what I'm saying? Still came back. Remember, I said the school had the floor with the hole and shit. I still came back. I just jumped over the hole. I never stepped on it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't step on it. You know? So it's like, there's so many reasons why not to go somewhere else. But in the end, was they teaching something that was not right and exact? Nah, this was it. This was it. You know what I'm saying? Everything was right and exact. It was the knowledge itself. I didn't hear nobody teaching about a mystery God. If somebody said something that I didn't see, somebody else was out there saying, nah, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? And it was all the elders. I had like all the elders to put their thoughts and ideas together. You know? Saving Knowledge, Firstborn Prince, Dumar, Maz Jamel, Infinite Al Jamal. It's a million people here that were elders to look up to. Born Justice, who's still vibrant and great. You know what I mean? All these elders were here regularly. So you got some insight from everybody, and you got schooling from somebody. Like, people know. Knowledge Me gave me my first pin, but I lost it. And I had to buy another one from CLR, right? Born Justice was there. And he said, how you see the knowledge degree in the 140? You know what I'm saying? And I was teaching for a few years already, maybe like 4 years. Still, I didn't even bat an eyelash. I said, okay, all right. You know what I mean? I quoted degree. You know what I'm saying? And I gave my understanding because I wouldn't have got it without the understanding that I had. You know, I couldn't just like, he expected more. Yeah. So I gave more. You know what I'm saying? But it was, so it was all these little things. But it's like, for all the things that's not right with the school, man, people acting like, I will say this though, I don't think that people think that I have a rose-colored glasses about the school. Nah, I know more about the worst parts about this school than anybody else. I'm gonna tell you one thing. The day that the incident of Khalim and Firstborn Prince, that's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know. Right? I'll tell you after. Okay. If you know, you know, because I'm not doing the Michael Muhammad Knight, write gossip and call it a book about the gods, right? And if you don't know, I'll let you know later, right? Anybody else that talks to me personally. The day that that incident happened was a Thursday that I taught class here. I had left with the God Day son, and he lives in the projects, right? No, not in the projects, but he lives on 100 and something street, and we're walking all the way down, and his apartment was there, and we walked back. It's summer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young man, so we don't know how to go home to our family at all. Like, and I was just hanging with the God. We going back home. We going back to his rest, right? And for some reason, we saw ambulances going, and we keep going. No. But we knew, but we couldn't. We just had a weird feeling, and we kept looking back as we was walking because it was straight. We was walking straight down to 110, and we just kept doing that. But then we found out later what happened. You know what I'm saying? We didn't witness it though. It happened after we left. But it was people don't remember it was a Thursday, and I was teaching that Thursday. You know what I mean? But I wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? I had already left. People know that Firstborn Prince at the time lived at the school. You know what I mean? So there's no way I would have outlasted him here. You know what I mean? Right? But I'm saying all that to say is that there's so many things that I disliked that was going on in the school. But it was more, a lot of times it was like home. You know, when you live with other people, they do shit you don't like, though. You know what I'm saying? Right? And they'll do shit that you do like. You know, whatever though. You know, but most importantly, they get to live because they live it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna, if in, from my peer group, if you got criticisms about the school and don't like what they teach, there was no day here being obstructed from you. You couldn't. You wasn't built for it. You didn't come get it. So that means you wasn't built for it. That's a fact. If you didn't come get it, you wasn't built for it. You know, and I know that, God, because everything that I did here, I got myself. Everything I learned, martial arts, everything, I had to go get it. You know what I'm saying? Everything I did ever in hip hop, I had to go get it. You know what I'm saying? Every opportunity that comes my way, I judged it, and mostly all of them, I took it if I could take it.
But you put out, you get back.
Yeah, you know?
That's what you put out.
Right, my brother King, come on, knows. He said, yo, God, I got these tracks for you, man. Just throw something on it. We made 3 albums, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to be making another one soon. We're getting the studio fixed up, right, God? But the thing about it is, like, that's really the way you build. So, like, if you don't like the way it builds here, get that money up and go help Allah School of Medina. You know, if it's all about Medina and Mecca is disgusting and gross and like whatever, then go there. You know,
They always say if you ain't doing, you ain't got haters, you're not right, man. Come on.
not with us though. Like I always say, yo, I say this all the time. I thought I had it in. I was like, yo, I'm on solar and actual fact. So you know, that's the victory laps in the race. Like you're like, man, what's that gonna feel when I right? You know, God, because you just did it though. You're like, man, after the 1 to 40, man, this is nothing.
Yeah, right.
And now I could actually enjoy memorizing it because it ain't nothing, right? After you memorize the 1 to 40, you're like, shh, it's a victory lap. Now you're just thinking like, where am I gonna go to get the flag, my flag engraved and all that? Now you could do advanced research and shit, right? You could do all of that shit, you know? So I'm at that stage and shit. And that was me in one class I'm sitting. He goes, everybody in here is gonna do something for the nation of their expertise. So I'm thinking maybe he just want me to write an article. I'm a writer, you know what I'm saying? I'm an editor, right? He tells me I gotta do a whole magazine. In 1999, God, a magazine. I'm like, yo, you know that takes mad money. It takes mad money. I couldn't even afford to do a 4-page magazine. Like the way a magazine is glossy and all that, I couldn't afford that. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, Day-Son, we gotta make a magazine. I gotta show and prove, man. I gotta show and prove. He told me to make a magazine because I'm an editor. So I was like, me and Day-Son, we figured it out how to get the money, and we made our swords, our sacred words. We made like a 20-page newspaper magazine. You know what I mean? Made 2 issues. Sold them at the Parliament, gave the proceeds to the school. You know, I still remember $3 a copy. You know? I'm not, is that your book you're ripping up?
I'm trying to rip out a piece of paper.
What book is that?
This one has no color.
Oh, okay. Just use it, you know, like ripping up so disgustingly. Like, you make sure you use it. But it was like I thought I was free sailing to my flag, but it was like, yo, you got to do something, and that's why, like I said, that's why I get to say stuff because I know how to make curriculums. I know how to do this, and yo, if don't criticize the school. Find the criticisms and launch what your corrective measures are. Launch them. All that shit is out of date. And I'm saying that to you, God. What you want to do, you go do it. You figure out how you're going to do it, and then you find a way to say, you either help me or you get out of the way. You know? Because even in this school, I don't know if it's a class or it's anything, how many days are in this week? You know what I'm saying? How many days are in this week? And then even then, the guy like to go, oh, as soon as this Thursday. I'm Thursday night. There's a whole day that just happened. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole day. Like, there's so much that could be done here. And if you don't want to do it here, you do it somewhere else. You know? If you're like I always say, Freedom Allah, Papa Wu, he did not like classroom settings. then you build outside and it's all
Put it on
peace.
block, when you do
Yeah,
block,
dude,
block,
right.
block.
But he could say that because he ran blocks,
Yeah.
not one block,
Yeah,
blocks and
several,
blocks and
several,
blocks.
several.
Had knowledge, like it was ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like the first time we rolled with him, me and the goddamn son went to one of these projects on 145th or something. And I don't remember exactly because I didn't know this neighborhood like that. At the time, I had just started getting knowledge. So I don't remember. They some probably remember. But the 85s, I'm saying they was 85. We had our flags on. They was frisking us to be allowed to go inside with freedom. That's how much love they have for freedom. Look at the gods. That's the big bro. How are you gonna frisk me? Like I'm, you know what I'm saying? They didn't. They had to do a little, you know what I'm saying? That's how much he had like certain buildings on lock. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. I never seen nothing like that. Not in no project building, unless you was doing the wrong thing powerfully. I never saw it in a righteous way. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy to me. You know? But so he still made his own environment, which is still a teacher's environment. You made a safe space. That's all teaching is. Instructing people in a safe space that you build. That's really what makes a teacher. You know what I'm saying? You could roll with them, you could accompany them, right? But that would be called mentorship. But the mentorship still has a safe space of the activity that they are mentoring you in, right? What are you mentoring them in? You know what I'm saying? Right? So it's very important. Very important. You know? Yeah, Qasim. All right. Raz King, peace, God. I think you said it's the ways to be, and I understand that you're busy. I'm just waiting to line up in the query. That's right, God. That's right. That's right. That's right, King. We got new music on the way, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. You know, I got a lot of stuff coming. You know, I got a book already done, an album already done that's coming out at the same time because it's a book and album. The album is the score for the book. You know what I'm saying? Working on another album, and then another album with King. You know, and a lot of stuff that people's asking me to do stuff with them was really, really nice. You know what I mean? Really nice opportunities. You know, but just keep building. Just keep building. You know what I'm saying? Right? Make something. Challenge yourself to make something. And if you want to make something, right? That's the thing, guy, right? You got 120 now, right? You want to make something, but you're not really sure how to go all the way. Now you got to know your network. Now you got to know, look, he did this. Let me just ask him. Listen, you're going to run. And I'm saying 5%, not just 85. I've run into 5% where they was doing stuff I wanted to do, and they did not give me the information. You know what I'm saying? They 10% of that information.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not right to that.
However, that was my cue to say, listen, they don't want me to have it though. They just want to do it themselves, or they don't want whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying?
That's like a 6 in my opinion, like quality.
It happens though. It happens. But you will eventually find people that will tell you how to do it though. You know what I'm saying? That'll tell you how to do it, and then you can really build. You know what I mean? Sham God King, peace. You know? But that's really the thing. You know what I mean? We gotta learn how to, add on in those respects, you know? Yeah. But that's really the conclusions of that video, because that video really got a lot of views and everything. And let's be honest, it got a lot of views because there are, these things I was saying as far as how we experience it, those who have refinement and stuff, the way we're chastised, ridiculed, that got nothing to do with real builds. That's real. That's real. That's not made up. I didn't make that up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make that up.
It's like you got popular for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. And people don't like that. I say, listen, if you only have power, some of the reasons that you give for it only being there is not really even what the word means. You know what I'm saying? Or there's got to be another essay that comes behind that. Like, that's why I was you know, saying power isn't the truth. If power is the truth, then all of it is the truth. Knowledge is the truth, right? Power is not a real thing. You don't hold power. Power is perception.
Mhm.
You see perception of something. Be careful with that fake God. That has the same effects as that second hand. Is can't be seen God, but it has the same effects. You know, they got the children. You know, yeah. Be careful with those vapes, God. It'll be as bad as a cigarette. You know? But it does. That second hand is real too, God. Just so you know. You know? But you know, the whole thing about it is that, you know, one of the prerequisites in this course, though, is to people to engage in their creative realities. You know what I mean? Even if they don't do those things, you're not supposed to engage in things just so you could do them. That's the thing that we have in our people, though. Like, notice our people, like we're poor, right? Brothers out there in the islands, they got to do baseball or soccer. They're trying to make a league.
Yeah.
They're not doing it just because they love the game, even though they love the game. And if you make it into the pros, man, you definitely love the game because, man, you're rich now. So at least it got you somewhat. Even if you're just in the league for a few years, if you're smart, you got like an investment to another career. If let's say it didn't work out,
You play the bench. still
Yeah,
get paid.
because
You play the bench, still get paid.
the lowest salary is going to be a great salary for an average person. You know what I mean? Right. So let's say you make 500,000 and you're on the bench for a year, and then you make 750,000. If you don't blow it and use it the way the other guys do, you got investment stuff. Like you're not going to live like your other teammates, but you're going to live very good.
Equity.
Yeah. You could build up something more than we get, because now you say, listen, I could live off this, let's say 100,000 a year, but I invested everything else. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of investment.
Longevity, man.
Yeah.
Longevity
So,
is key.
but the thing is that we don't really engage in creative or athletic efforts to really test what we can do, to just challenge ourselves, challenge the mind and shit. So we don't try and shit like that. And that's something that, you know, we should challenge the way we write, how we read. If we never tried a sport, if we think about it, we should try a sport. If we like sports, try a different one. You know, all these things are important, though. You
What
know,
happened to me, man? I put a class at the Boston University for lacrosse. I was a lacrosse player. I played football. I'm saying that my coach was like, you know what? Football, you're going to kill you. He's fast. Try for lacrosse.
yeah.
And they're more timid than nothing.
I never had that mentality. Like when I was in high school, I wanted to be in the basketball team. No, I'm saying.
That's what those mean. I played basketball.
I love basketball. You know what I'm saying?
I played with those.
And I was in the worst team in the league. It was the worst team in the league, and I was only able to make the bench. And I got no playing time. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even want to play me. You know what I mean? They rather like I was basically a water boy. You know? No, serious. Yeah. You know? And it was, but the wrestling coach was always recruiting me. But I was like, that look feminine, man. I'm not hugging a dude for, you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, especially like their opening stance, because we had regular gym with the wrestling coach. So what is he gonna teach us? He taught us some wrestling. And you go on top of them and you start like that. I was like, nah, man. But if I'm a martial artist, that's what I really became.
Yeah.
That would have been a good add-on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would have been a good add-on in how I fight and everything. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, it didn't happen.
Close for the combat.
You know, it didn't happen, but at the same time, I think back on it and it's like, yo, these opportunities, sometimes it's good to take them to just learn about certain things, you know? We don't do that when we're young and stuff. We only want to do the things that we like, you know? But when you get older, though, you're like, yo, you try stuff. So, you know, you got the knowledge, guys. So, like, yo, try some things. Like, even if you're like, I don't know about this, you know what I'm saying? That's why my mentality, I was still young. My mentality was more like that when I got knowledge, because I was like, yo, it happens to be that everything that I'm doing is because I said I went against all motherly, fatherly advice, you know? So I was like, yo, let me try this Kung Fu, you know what I mean? Because I am walking around with a knife and, you know what I'm saying? Who knows? Yeah, right? And we do go through things. Like, yo, dating women is gonna put you through things because you leaving them. I'm a kind of guy, I bring a woman home. So even if I don't get to be with her that night, I'm still bringing her home. So a lot of times I'm going back home at night late and shit. You know what I mean? Right? So some back in the day, like something was gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's not if, it's when. So you gotta have something. But I was like, man, I don't know how to use this thing that good anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm Puerto Rican don't mean I can use a knife. You know what I mean? That cliche doesn't just, it's not innate. Even though people see me with the butterfly knives now, they think it is though. You know what I mean? But
butterfly knife for years, kid. You got a butterfly knife? Wow.
Yeah, man, I use them good.
Years.
Yeah, I use them real good. Yeah, I use them good, guys. I use them good. So I fulfill the cliche now, but yeah, I dare to do that because everybody in my family be like, oh, you gonna, my older, when she was alive, like when she didn't know I did kung fu until I did it.
You told me if you humble there.
Yeah, until she saw me do it. She visited and she saw all these weapons. She was like, yo, are you killing? Are you doing crime? Like, I'm like, man, if I did crime, I'm not gonna carry a damn broadsword in the street. Like, right? There's more effective ways to do crime. Right? I can have a tiny gun though. That'll be more effective and useful than bringing a giant ass knife and stuff. Right?
Man, I'll be just throw it back and everything.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because look, you go with a big ass knife, you go, give me your money. The guy actually might be like, I'm just gonna run away, right? But with a gun, the worst gun, he's like, yeah, I can't really run away from this, right? But anyway, the point being though, it's like I knew people would disagree, but I thought it out as a young man, because I'm able to make my own decisions. Like, yo, this is the decision. This is a better decision. You know what I'm saying? This is a better decision. Because even though they taught me not to be a criminal and do crime, no matter what, everything I wanted was in the street. Yeah, right? Everything I want to do hip hop. Back in the days, you're not doing hip hop, do Zoom. Right? I'm doing an interview with brothers. I got to go to Brownsville. I got to go to Bed-Stuy. I got to go to the Bronx. I got to go to Queens. I can't just be like, yo, let's Zoom on Saturday, And I can interview you while I'm wearing my slippers and shit. You know what I mean? Right? That shit, that's wonderful, but that's not the way, you know what I'm saying? Like now, I can interview artists, right? And I can write down great questions, and they'll answer it and send me back the MP3s and answers. And I just put it in my transcribing program, and I got like 90% of the piece. You know what I mean? But like that's not how it was back then. You know what I'm saying? The
essence was different.
Yeah, man. I remember when I was living in the Bronx, right? These old brothers, they found out that I was a journalist in hip hop. And it was like, yo, they're telling me in Spanish though, you ever interviewed Fat Joe? You know what I mean? They're like, do you like Fat Joe? They looked up Fat Joe, and I'm like, yeah, at the time, it was like 95. So 95, he was dope. He wasn't like with the pop cuts.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I like Fat Joe. Yeah. And there's not many Puerto Ricans that are signed. So I'm like, yo, yeah, Fat Joe's dope. There's no pun yet, So he says, yeah, Fat Joe's dope. He goes, and this Puerto Rican, older Puerto Ricans in the neighborhood was like, I hate Fat Joe. He's crime. All he does is shoot around here and shit. Because they're thinking of the shit he was doing before the shit that he was doing, the crimes he was doing. Yeah. Yeah, like he was really doing some stupid shit. Yeah. He was wilding out. Like his name was on. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Joey Cracks.
Yeah, it really was Joey Cracks. Like, that, yo, they know, you run it when old people hate you. Like, they hated him. It was like, yo, they were like, how come a criminal gets to be on TV? They're probably putting it out. It's like, this is the guy that comes from our neighborhood? Right? There's supposed to be like some cellist or something that blows up and shows a better. No, it's this guy. Like, they was tight. It was not really feeling it at all. You know what I'm saying? But that was the thing about hip hop, right? Yeah, man. But yeah, you got to try things. You have daring to try things. I always try to keep it like that, Even when I thought I was losing it, I remember when the God King was like sending me stuff talking about making an album. I talked to my oldest daughter and I was like, yo, God, he wants me to make an album with him. She's like, yeah, you should do that. And if your kid tells you, yo, you should go do it, now I'm gonna look like a damn punk if I don't even try. You know what I mean? Right? I had to do it now. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, let's do it. All right. Malik said nothing that he likes the devil for, right? Is it because it's nothing sustainable, tangible, and not enduring? It could be any and all those things. He likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing, because there is great value that he's seeing in what the devil's offering him and giving him. And at the very least, the attachment, the allegiance, the alliance with the devil is good enough for the meager that he's getting. So it still has value to be associated with him. That's powerful right there. You know what I'm saying? It's very powerful.
It's like another man's treasure is someone else.
One man's
trash, another man's treasure.
Yeah. And by that, they was really throwing trash at us.
Right, it was giving us the worst parts of the pig and everything.
Because we would be content, though, being associated with the highest of the high. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand. Like, they go 1 to 36 just for Black Americans, right? The immediate story and the discourse is, but they apply to all the original people that have been duped. You know what I'm saying? Look at South America, where they deal with the one drop rule in reverse, where they get hyped up. Yo, I can't tell you, because photos be black and white, and then a lot of our ancestors, like older relatives that are earlier generations, they may not have a broad nose. They have aquiline features, right? They might, right? They don't have like hip hop cut or anything. You know what I'm saying? They'll have the fard lick. You know what I'm saying? And they'll go, look at this. Is this common in my family? No, look at this relative. They'll go real deep. Grandfather's father's uncle, this, that, something. He was French. So now me saying I'm the original, man. Now I can't say that shit. Because we got all this indigenous. We got black here, black there that we could find. But there's one French dude makes it official. We're really European dominant. Crazy. They don't know nothing about what he did. But they said, oh, he's a French guy. Shit is crazy.
Something like that happened right now in Jamaica. There's like a little beef between Queen Africa and Sincere. Sincere is half Japanese and half Jamaican, and she's like the face of Jamaica right now as far as music. Queen Africa's like, no, you're not you should be the face of Jamaica. You're not from Jamaica. You're born in Japan. Like, you just really not like, I mean, for real, like, it's crazy.
They can't even see your hand, Amma.
Subscribe.
That's all you're gonna say? Subscribe as you take my phone? Nah. Look in there. Where's Dork Diaries in there?
You can find it, Poppy.
Oh, you can't find it. It must have disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah? It must have disappeared.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Nah, you're gonna go. These kids, they play games on your phone. I don't know how it takes so much battery from the phone. I'm like,
data.
Yeah,
like
did she construct something? Because I'm like, yo, I give it to her and she gives me back, oh, that's on 28%. I'm like, yo, how did you just absorb
40%, 50%?
I gave you the bad, right? Because all I mainly do is I listen to music and I read, and then if I have ideas, I write in Google Docs. It's 3-3, and then the social media, if I'm checking to see who's talking to me. So it don't really drain like that. This one, and kids love Roblox, man. That shit takes up battery. That kills battery, man. I'm like
Roblox.
That's why I know the devil's watching you with Roblox. He's watching the kids because it's draining your whole battery, man. Yeah.
Nah. All my kids did. The kids I used to teach, all of them was all up on Roblox.
Yeah. Kids would have conversations with me. I said, I don't play video games. I never was into them. And they're like looking at me like, oh, that's messed up. They're looking at me like, oh, I had the hardest childhood. Like, I was just like, damn, it's terrible. Wow, that's horrible. Like they was feeling sorry for me, and I was like, yo, I really don't want to play it.
Yeah, I used to game
Yeah.
in my early 20s. Late 20s, I used to game. Kind of go out of it, though. I go out of it.
I hear that, yeah.
No,
No, I don't have a problem with people
Yeah.
game and
Yeah.
shit like that. I just
They
not.
consume by as a problem.
Yeah, it's just not for me. You know
How
what I'm
was the
saying?
time?
Yeah, you know. But that Roblox, what I don't like about the Roblox guy, right? Because you notice it's the chat stuff. Because grown people could be on that messaging you,
Yeah.
and that's why I don't like. I really don't care for Roblox because of that. You know what I mean?
That's why I never really mess with games like that. I'm just
Yeah.
that's gonna lead me in the right direction. I'm not trying to be.
Yeah. Because sometimes my own children, like, especially this one, like, somebody will comment and say something mean to her, make her feel bad when she was younger, and I'm like, yo, you know that person, like, and then of course she learned because I had to show the trolls that I got. You know what I'm saying? These trolls are trying to. They some of these trolls at one time they was threatening my life. Like somebody need to, you know what I'm saying? Take him out. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Wow.
You know, we don't need no Puerto Ricans in school. They need to take them out. Yeah, like they was really on it. The worst. Yo, honestly, God, the worst the trolls said. One time they was on there, multiple times. They was on there saying, I'm glad that your mother's returned. Like, that's how, yeah. And I'm like, yo, I know you're a troll. I know you're a troll. Because none of my elders would even allow me not to beat earth, wind, and fire out of you. If you said that to me, I would be like, yeah, God, you could.
See, but the thing about it,
Crazy.
Internet thing, bro, like you like obtain bravados and egos of the people.
Oh, yeah.
Social media,
Yeah.
You don't want to, but it changes in physical.
Yeah.
You go over megabytes and over wires right now, and the physical
Yeah.
is a whole different story.
And that's why, like with the whole social media, that's why I even made it a conscious decision. Like when I did the video with Mega, I knew it was gonna have negative. It was a negative build. I had to build what I thought was right and exact, but in a negative format because I was done with it. But it took a lot out of me though. I was very tired, more than usual, because it took a lot out of me. I had the discourse with people contact me, mostly positive, but also negative too. You know what I'm saying? The the certain idiots and stuff that say stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta remember that takes a toll because it takes time away from what I'm doing. Yeah, and I notice it more because it's the summer and I have my kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, man, like I'm really here and your kid's right here and I'm doing this. I'm answering you, but we're about to do some shit. Right.
You change in the physical, man. Over the
Yeah.
megabytes, so
But in the end, they would never say this shit, you know?
Never.
It's funny because I always had a journalistic rule. It was like the best rule. Nobody has ever, and Dayson too, me and him, we've been doing this hip hop journalism over 30 years. It's 60 plus years between us. We always only wrote stuff that we would say to somebody into their face. And so we never got into it. We said tough stuff, but they knew we would say it to them. So now when you think like that, why am I just going to say your record sucks and stuff? Let me give some details. Because it's not about saying something funny. It's about showing people that read it, say, listen, what is it about the music that's wrong? And show them so that way people know what's wrong with music, but what's also should be good in the music, what ought to be in the music. You know what I'm saying? What you should expect. You know, all these things. Like you learn better when you deal with a positive mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The purpose of trolling was created for people can get like a
Well, you know,
power control, like
unlike any other time, right? Yo, God, unlike any other time in the Western world, people have never had a voice. So in the, when you have kings ruling, you ain't got no voice. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a voice, right? You're a peasant. When you have democracy, they're assuming your voice. Often democracy is just assuming the voice of the many and representing that voice, that one voice of the many, which usually isn't really, it's usually not right and exact. It's usually not the many. It's just the few that have spoken the most, right? As in, you know what I'm saying, lobbies, you know what I'm saying? Lobbyist groups and stuff. That's if you're able to represent your group the loudest, you don't even have to be the majority anymore. Right? That's how a lobby works, right? Yeah, the lobby works and they pay and they say, listen, this is the product we want out there. You guys got to be about these GMOs. Well, now GMOs don't get to be labeled overtly on the products, right? because the lobbyists spoke. We spoke, but they didn't listen. It don't matter. So democracies are flawed too. But when they go on the social media, they're like, yo, I finally have a voice. It'll go somewhere. And the voice propels itself the more negative I am. Those are built-in algorithms, though. People act like, people are drawn to negativity, right? You see a fight, everybody goes, oh, what's the fight going and everything. But this is not that. This is not real life. This is a designed algorithm. So if you write negative stuff, it's not contingent that just because humans flock to a fight, that they would flock to that tweet. That was something that was built in to mimic the worst of life. You see what I'm saying? You open up those things, the algorithms aren't like that. You know what I'm saying? They changed the algorithms. In fact, during the COVID times, it was around 2021, but those algorithms became very tight and they keep you in your own ghetto. Before, because I was selling books during that time. 7 of my 8 books came out once COVID started. You know what I'm saying? So once the algorithm, once you were sending out your stuff, it was going past the amount of followers you had, and other people was getting it. I know, because I was getting more sales off the Instagram. Then when they change the algorithms and they keep you in your own ghetto, that shit barely goes into the flock of your followers.
Censorship.
Yeah, it's a type of censoring without stopping you from saying it, but stopping its distribution. So the communist country that becomes a dictatorship is going to give everybody stuff equally, but then they're going to stop you from having stuff. Even if you earn it or go get it, they'll stop you from saying stuff, right? The democratic country that's fascist like this, USA, they're just going to let you say anything, but they're going to stop you from distributing. That's why cancel culture is perfect for this shit. It's perfect because they get the people to cancel their own challenging thoughts. You're not just canceling people that say wrong things. You're canceling people that say things that challenge you. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Because you got rules and regulations about what we allow you to say. Everything else you get canceled. You can't be saying that, right? You get stuff like shadow ban, where your tweet goes out or your post, but it doesn't really engage anyone, right? If you ever wrote a curse on a tweet, it'll tell you this is not going to get traction for what you did. You know what I'm saying? Right? But even if you take it out and do it again without the curse, it's too late. Okay, no, thought's not going to get traction.
Because now you're on that list.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay.
I was reading The Myth of Race, and it was talking about
Reading what was it called?
The Myth of Race by Robert Sussman. And it was talking about eugenics and how that whole movement started. And then basically they were trying to push sterilization laws. And the people who were with the sterilization laws, as we know it now, would be 10%, Theodore Roosevelt, Rockefeller, Carnegie, those kind of people.
Hold on, good. Peace. That's peace. I'm still here. Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Besties Club.
The Besties Club is her channel. Yeah,
He's
dude.
singing with a cat ear, with a cat face on it. That's me.
You heard it here first. Yeah. You were saying, God.
So basically what I'm saying is the people weren't with sterilization. However, the people who were pushing sterilization had more influence on politics, science, and just media in general. So they were able to push their propaganda and get certain laws passed.
That's powerful. Yeah, yeah. It very much mimics the what happened now with the vaccine mandates. Yeah, very similar.
Yeah. Even their own people was against it.
Yeah. So you know, you can't have discourse, which is crazy because everything that all medication is supposed to have discourse, right? You know what I mean? When you go to the doctor, if you don't agree with the doctor, he says, "Yo, you're gonna die tomorrow." You're gonna be like, "Nah, I'm going for a second opinion tomorrow." You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna agree with him. You know, a lot of people won't. You know what I'm saying? They'll be in a logical denial, but that disagreement to go to second opinion is actually what is supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be done. But yo, yeah, I'm ahead. I'm only gonna be online here until 8 o'clock. So in about 13 minutes, I'm a 15 or something. I'm gonna log off. But whatchamacallit? There was some questions here, I assume. Clemente, peace. Anybody here, by the way, that has emailed me, please email me again. I've been behind with that because I've been working on some tech in my studio. King Kaval knows, and it's we had a little bit of a setback, you know, but we're working on it. Thank you, Malik. She is beautiful. Malik, you also asked, was Che Guevara for the people? Yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that everything that people write about him is pretty much slander. And he was a real revolutionary and was willing to do all he can to bring revolution, you know, via immediate arms to the people. You know, he went to the Congo and it didn't work, but he certainly brought it there. Where he died, it just wasn't successful. You know what I mean? But yeah. And a lot of the stuff, you know, it's funny. A lot of the war crimes that people talk about that they did is not really true. It's exaggerated and was amended. Because at first, when Cuba took over, they was killing a lot of the soldiers that did war crimes, like the ones that knew was most brutal to the people. But after a while, Fidel had seen the way the people were eating that up. He was like, "No, this is savage. We can't be doing that." And then he stopped that as well. That actually makes sense because soldiers that all the prisoners that they caught, that Fidel and his army caught, they did not execute them. You know what I'm saying? They never executed a soldier. They executed traitors on their own side. So if you were a traitor, like if you snitched to the Batista regime, and they would body you. Like they didn't even want to discourse with you. They bodied you immediately. You know, so people really don't know what Che Guevara was doing. You know what I'm saying? But to me, he was a great man. Had great Pan-Africanist views, and that meant black and brown all over the world. Like he really was about that. You know, he was a real revolutionary. You know, and his books on guerrilla warfare are still vibrant. You know what I mean? They're still useful. Reading the movie's good too, but it doesn't have all that you need from him. The Motorcycle Diaries, the diary that leads to that movie, that's a great read. But all the Che Guevara works are insightful. You know what I'm saying? All the Che Guevara works are insightful.
So Guevara.
Yeah, yeah. But
Revolution, right?
yeah. Because the guy was asking me, was Che Guevara for the people? And I absolutely, in all of my research, I say absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And he's a great warrior. You know what I mean? He had lung problems, like asthmatic problems and all that, and he still was in the field and everything. You know, he was a fighter. You know, great fighter. You know?
Please, dog. I wanted to ask you a question. Well, earlier you guys said that power is not the truth. Would you like elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. I don't disagree saying power is definitely not the truth, but the truth is something tangible to me. The black man is God. That's what they're referring to. However, power though is not tangible. Power is felt. So it is a force upon something tangible. That means that the force is not the force of the truth is what's hitting you. So power is not the truth. It's not the same thing, right? So if I said truth is the ultimate power, That is not the same thing as saying power is the truth. Language is very tricky that way.
Semantics.
Language is very tricky. You saw that I wasn't saying it like that. So so when they say that, it becomes a reasoning to say that refinement shouldn't be in power. But refinement to me is in power because refinement is about the focus of your power. And that's always in play. Right? Just blurting out power has never been effective. Right? And the way we were taught this specific knowledge, so it was never blurted out. It was always targeted, always focused. So I always saw, and I always teach refinement as focus of that power. But power is the truth. My thing is this. The truth is a tangible thing. And they're always referring to this truth. The black man is God. Right? But the black man is God is not a truth that we utter out. It is a truth that we focus when we do it. And really, where you tangibly see it is not power. Where you tangibly feel it is power. But where it is really living is in the culture. You see? So that means that all of the degrees prior are acceptable to be the truth. Knowledge is the ultimate truth. The knowledge of self. That's the actual truth. The actual truth is a statement of knowledge. Is it not? It's not a statement of power. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example why. In the future, I said that the 5% nation, if you just call it that, I said that could be non-existent. What I mean is, eventually everyone will be taught this. Now, somebody tried to argue, and I appreciate the argument. I don't mind people arguing and saying that, well, there's always going to be 85. That's another discourse. That's a discourse of what you think humanity is, whether you think of humanity positively or you think of humanity negatively. And there are hundreds and hundreds of years, for example, of Asian philosophers arguing that. Confucius, for example, thought humanity was inherently good. They just needed the model of the leaders to be that way. He said, if the leaders are good, the people will be good. You know what I'm saying? But he thought that humanity was good, whereas other great philosophers, they were like, nah, people is wild savage all the time. And you got to be hard with them. And you got to be evil with them. This is how they saw it. So, like, people disagree. So, if you say again,
it's a matter of perception.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when they argue that the 5% nation, what I'm saying about this knowledge is that eventually it'll all be out there. Like, for example, a truth. Are people really arguing that 2 + 2 = 4? No, they are not. Another truth. The earth has been proven to not be flat. Now, there are some fools out there that still say that it's flat because they say, look outside, look up in the sky. It just doesn't make sense. Right? That's what they say. The most babyish build, right? I can't even be called a build. So what I'm saying is, like, something could be common knowledge to the world already, right? And in many respects, that would mean that eventually this knowledge of self as a black man is God could be common knowledge to the world, although other people won't accept it in a way that impacts them the way it impacts me and you. You know what I'm saying?
Acknowledgement.
Right. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to live it out, or they're not going to see it as something that, well, it doesn't change much. Like, for example, I'll give you another fun thing that was not considered true, and now people consider it true, like white racist people consider it. Yeah, everything started in Africa. We know. They was denying that shit up to like the fucking 2000s.
No, they was.
They was, right? They were like,
no.
no, that's not true. But now they say, yeah, everything started in Africa. So what? Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Everything started in Africa, but it's not there anymore. That's what they say now. Now it's no big deal. But see, they have a fact that they accept, but they don't want to acknowledge its impact, its power.
I see that.
You see what I'm saying? So the actual truth is what? The actual knowledge. The knowledge is the truth. You know what I'm saying? So we have the power to give it to everyone, but that's not really the focus though. The real focus is the people that really embrace it. And for us, that's not going to be us making them do it. All we do is present it. No matter what anybody says, 5% is just present the truth. We do not make you see it. There are certain people, I've taught hundreds. So many people have given me credit by making them see stuff. But all I did though was unfold things that they was going to see themselves, and it was wonderful that they found me because they might not have gotten this information, but they got to me, which meant that they wanted the information. You draw your own reality up. You know what I'm saying? From the unknown to the known.
Like 25.
Right.
Wise man actually wants to know. 25 actually don't know.
Yeah. You bring that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Right? Well, it's like, it's not the same, but if I go to the library looking for something and I find it, you don't give the librarian so much credit for giving you the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that. It's almost like that. So what I'm saying is like there's many more facets to the truth to just say it's power. When they build that power is the truth, they're building on that definitively. And that's my argument. It is not definitively only that. Right? It really is everything. I consider all of the mathematics the truth. Every aspect of it. And if I had to pick one, it wouldn't be power, it would be knowledge. Right? The knowledge is the truth. And we know that the truth can be used to develop trick knowledge, right? Because we taught trick knowledge is not the lie, it's the lie mixed with truth. That was most effective.
Shades of gray.
Shades of gray, you know what I'm saying? Right? I used to always do that. When I used to teach up in front, I used to go, listen, they'll tell you that your shirt is orange, right? Your shirt, but they said, no, his shirt is actually purple. But then they start flicking the light a lot. See, his shirt is purple. Trick knowledge though. Now you can't see that good and everything. You're like, oh yeah, man. You know what? Yeah, the guy in the purple shirt on. You know what I'm saying?
It's majority everyone's saying it.
And everybody's like, yeah, right. So
maybe I'll see something.
This is trick knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So all of these things happen like that. You know what I'm saying?
And we were saying that, well, like power is intangible. But then I thought about like electricity, for example, how that could like power the phone.
Right. But remember, electricity is real, but we're calling power what it is being used for. You see what I'm saying? So it's still a different thing. Electricity doesn't necessarily do anything. It's only because we've targeted and learned how to channel it. Right? So if we go math, we took the electricity, right? We took the electricity through, but it has to go through all of the plugs and everything that we channel it to give its quality to us. The way the power of the phone really is the equality of that electricity.
Yeah, I see that.
Right? It's not necessarily power, because if it was like that, we could just stick our finger in it. Right? We just get a fork and stick in there and then see what happens. Right? It's just the power. The power is the truth, right? Boom.
Because I also see power as like, it could also, like how you were saying how refinement can deal with focus.
Mm-hmm.
Power can also deal with just energy in its raw form.
See, in that case, that's why I don't argue vehemently. I used to hear builds from Freedom and all of them all the time. And if you built it like that, I see that. I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? The theory I had to address it is because I don't think it's definitive. And only this.
Okay, I see that.
That was my only problem, though. The way you just built right now, it's not that I don't have a problem with it. There is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing I can say to that. You know what I'm saying? It isn't incorrect. It's correct. So the thing is, though, is that I was saying that when they say power is the truth, remember that the way people, when they say that is because they're saying power is the truth and refinement added to power is manipulating that. It is manipulating it. It is altering the truth. You don't alter the truth. You don't need to alter the truth. You know what I'm saying? But that's the problem with the whole definition to use it that way. Because when you have power, right, that power has to be presented correctly. And that's what the point of refinement was, right? Power just blares, right? We go back to electricity, right? You know that you have to have all types of adapters and everything like that. Like it doesn't always just go. Yeah. So that, it's the power is the truth build that is Medina bound. It has holes in it to me. It is too rigid. It is too rigid to me.
Well, refinement means to be pure, like in its pure state, like it's pure, the element is pure form.
See, and I get when they say refinement is the purest form, right? That makes refinement redundant with power.
Yeah,
Like, where you don't have to. Listen, where you don't have to say refinement.
Yeah.
However, if you use refinement, it has to be what the power is doing. How is it focused?
Yeah.
Where is it directed? And I think that's crucial because that's exactly what the Father was doing.
Yeah.
The Father never yelled out, "The black man is God," and yelled it out to a whole area. Never did that. So it's really important that, that what people get out of the conversation is not that you don't use power as the truth as a concept, but that it's not always definitive that way. Knowledge is the truth. Using the truth, wisdoming it is the truth. My understanding is the truth. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm a writer. I create things. My pieces and my work is no good without understanding. So that's the greatest power of my work is my understanding.
And the work is what you created through your life.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
And you was
So, yeah. So I think that the term is more adaptable. It's more general. I don't think it's just so stringent on one thing, And King, King just asked what you had, the force of energy, and yeah, you're right. And yes, Malik, that's why I had the elaboration in the video in that power to refine, where I was talking about I see refinement as a supplemental word. Just like I see freedom as a supplemental word, an add-on word to it.
Yeah.
Supreme Math is not just a spell book. Like, those have to be the words to make the spell. We already are God. Like, we actually are God even if we didn't have a Supreme Math. Supreme Math just shows us what we are doing, and we use that tool. You know what I'm saying? Thankfully, because of the Father, but it was first a tool before it was a tool that focuses what we're already creating and how we create, but was a teaching tool. We was learning about ourselves first with Supreme Math. Then we was using it.
What I learned was this culture and power was the freedom and refinement came later on. Like I learned
Right.
1%,
Yeah. And then it was like, why was it added later on? And it was, it was to add on, to supplement, to give more insight. And why not? We're in a world where nobody sees what we're dealing with. So some of these words, powers, aside from God, power is the most misused word. People use power for corruption. They let it corrupt them. They misuse it, right? They overexert. How many times, I can't tell you how many times God was like, I said, man, I did it anyway because I'm God. Like, brothers were saying crazy stuff, or they were saying, I did what I did because I'm God. And I'm like, that's not even a build, B. Right? That's not even a build. Like, you cannot be living life and saying, I did what I did because I'm God. You got to have more reason than that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because then now you just said things, right? Because the Father never taught that way. No elder that I built with that was around the Father never said, yeah, he just told us that he's alive, and that's why it's like that. I was waiting for it because I'm like, maybe once time, like they would, because a lot of them, they would tell me like, he was really up to his neck with these kids. Like, they was young kids wilding out, and he's trying to keep them straight laced. But he never told them that. He never said, he always showed them, he had a calm that must have been
level of patience.
Yeah, oh man. You know what I'm saying? Because God, you teach the youth. I've taught the youth, right? Young kids, when they go bananas though, like they ain't no teaching them. You know what I mean? You just try to contain them, keep them alive.
Yeah.
Their parents come, listen, we didn't get through too much today, but he's alive. You know what I mean?
You're welcome.
Nothing's broken. He's alive. Like sometimes it's like that. Because we're dealing with other people's kids and stuff. Like if they're not trying to get the teaching. That's what it is, Malik, you said power has to be expressed through culture. Power is only expressed through culture, right? If we think about it, it's only expressed through culture, right? Your way of life is the only way that power is exuded. Yeah.
Or the conduit.
That's why culture is the full power.
Yeah. Lord Takim, divine understanding. That's peace.
Can I afford? I forget one.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing. I know we got into a thing. I haven't gotten too many questions about it. I got a lot of positive feedback. Most of the negative feedback was on online. The funniest negative feedback was people telling me that Ralph Lauren is my Fard Muhammad. That shit is funny. Like, yo, yeah. You know, so I just was messing with them. Like, they said it on a video, an archive video, and I just wrote, listen, you see that? I was rocking a very rare denim and supply sweater from Ralph in this video right here. And then I just put the drip sign, you know, the drip emoji. I'm like, yo, I just play with it. So what am I supposed to say, man? Like, you know, like, you know what's funny, right? Think about it, right? The only revolutionary that you can think of that revolutionized, that was a revolutionary and went and reflected it in his clothing was Gandhi. It's the only one that you can think of. Of a major no. We talked about Che and Fidel. They didn't. They wore the garments at the time. It wasn't.
Gandhi very eclectic.
Yeah. Gandhi got rid of his business suits. But then after that, he was wearing only Indian clothing. But he went further and started to spool his own clothing. That's why it looked like he was just wearing those white loincloth things, like those coverings. Because he was making that himself. He was like, nah, we're just going to we're not even dealing with none of these bloodsuckers, nobody. We're going to make our own stuff in this ashram, you know, which was the place, community, school community that they made for themselves, you know. Thank you. Peace. You out here yet? Come on in the building, God. I'm inside. That's peace, God. Peace. All right. But no, it was really that simple. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know, but yeah, God, like even with people's understandings though, they have think of them with use, but also question how they would work. You know what I'm saying? How they would work. Like for example, I didn't go to it too far with the freedom, which is fine, freedom at 40. But some people enforce it where you can't even mention it until you're dealing with the concept of 40 or more. So you can only build with supreme mathematics freedom unless 40 or more. And I'm like, that takes away a lot of use that you could use it for. You know, so why would you be so constricting? You know, I think it has definite play 40 or more, but does it have to be that constricting? These are the things that you should ask yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's understanding is definitive. You know, like maybe later as you go along, because of it though, you come up with an insight where you can show and prove how you see power as the truth as a very powerful build for yourself, right? It has to be challenged. And some people don't want to challenge stuff, you know? Listen, there's been elders that have been against what goes on with the use of things, so they get rid of the use of things. I don't want to get rid of things because I don't like the way they're used. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want people to all add a refinement to their degrees. I want people's trees to be respected. You know what I'm saying? Sunya is a tree. There's so many trees. Like I was reading about, I'm reading a really good book about the history of Wing Chun, because I do Wing Chun, right? I don't know the history. And it's a lot of mythology in the history, so it's a really good book, you know? I think it's pretty much called The History of Wing Chun. It's not nothing fancy. I could email you that book. It's really good. Yeah, you know, 95% of the books I'm talking about I got, you know what I mean? But what is it called? The Creation of Wing Chun. That's the name of it. Peace Almighty. You know? But in that book, peace Almighty. Salute to you. I'm almost done with this session here, my brother. Absolutely, yeah. Grab a seat, you know what I'm saying? Right? That's my daughter Amma right there doing her thing. Amma, that's the UFO feed. That's one of the great MCs of this era right now. You know what I mean? An all-timer. So in that book, I'm learning about the history of what I'm doing, Wing Chun. But they talk about the Chinese history and how they developed the triads and how they developed the community in all of the cities like Foshan and others based on lineage. And those lineage systems went out of control. That's what developed the triads and all the gangs and stuff, because they were protected communities. But then the lineage became out of control, where only rich people could hold their lineage. So it kind of went out of control. So like lineage is a thing that we got to study because we deal with it. Like now I deal with it with martial arts. I have a lineage in martial arts. But with the knowledge, we got a lineage. We go back to the firstborn and then to the father, right? But if we let our lineages go out of control like they did, we could be arguing about, yo, my tree is firstborn prince, right? And then your tree is Black Messiah. And we arguing about, oh, my tree is in Medina. And we start arguing about those trees because this is really where it comes down to. And I'm reading the book and I'm like, yo, the problems we having with our lineages and arguing about it, that if Mega was really emphasizing when we was building, this has happened before in history. This is why you got to study history, because so many people have lived things. A lot of times we reinventing the wheel thinking we made up stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this knowledge itself, if this knowledge itself is real, the original man is God, we cannot be the first people to say it. You know, all the research though, we not. You know what I'm saying? But that lineage thing is a real thing, you know? Hey, you email me, I'll send you that book. It's a really good book. You know what I'm saying? Because even as I learned Wing Chun, I learned the stories that my lineage wants to share. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to share all the other stuff. And they don't have all the history of China like that in that depth that the guy's going through with it, which is very interesting. You know what I'm saying? But so with that being said, I went past my time as I usually do. I'm gonna log off here right now. Anybody wants to build Sunez97@gmail, just email me. If you got the number, text. If I didn't answer your email, forward it to the top. You know what I'm saying? And pester me. And help me get that out. You know what I'm saying? But until next session, let's communicate. Peace. Yeah, God. Since